it right out of my hands and threw it onto the frozen lake. I walked over and picked up the snow globe. The surface cracked beneath my feet. The freezing water swallowed me whole in an instant. I thrashed with everything I had, but the ice above me sealed off every way out. Right at the moment I was about to die, my power erupted. The lake water wrapped around me, and I teleported straight into the school library. Everyone around me was stunned. I had no idea what had just happened either. All I could do was scramble to my feet and run home, soaking wet and shaking from head to toe. When my drunk father saw me dripping, he didn't say a single word of concern. Instead, he flew into a rage and ordered me mop up the water. The second he reached out to push the door open, I teleported back to the library. At that moment, I realized that I might have awakened some kind of superpower, so I started practicing. At first, I couldn't control the distance and wiped out hard. But after enough trial and error, I could land precisely anywhere within my line of sight. Then one day, I was flipping through a magazine and saw a photo of the Empire State Building. A childhood memory flashed through my mind, and then I jumped over 1,000 miles and landed on the roof of the Empire State Building. Turns out, anywhere I could picture in my head, I could reach in an instant. In that moment, I knew my life was about to change forever. My mother Mary had walked out on us when I was little because of my father's abuse. I decided to leave that house for good too. I said goodbye to Millie, my first love, and rented a cheap apartment, but my savings were running out fast, so I decided to rob a bank. I stood outside the bank, hyping myself up.
I was 15. Come on, what would you have done? I figured I'd pay it back someday.
I pretended I needed to use the restroom and got a security guard to walk me past the vault. In those few seconds before the vault door swung shut, I burned every detail of the interior into my memory. That night, I focused hard on the image I had memorized and successfully jumped inside the vault. But after stuffing a few stacks of cash into my bag, I realized it was way too small. So I jumped back to my apartment, looked around the room, grabbed a bed sheet to use as a sack, until my apartment was covered with cash. Thanks to my ability, I was living in the most luxurious penthouse. The place was filled with exotic cars and designer watches, and I even had a private storage room. One day, I grabbed an umbrella on my way through the lobby. The concierge reminded me it wasn't going to rain. I just smiled, walked around the corner, and teleported thousands of miles to the top of Big Ben in London, standing there with my umbrella, taking in the breathtaking night view. I wandered into a nearby bar, and with a little charm, I hit it off with a beautiful woman for a perfect night. Back at my apartment afterwards, I casually picked up a photo off the wall and jumped to the Pacific Ocean to catch some waves. The next second, I was sitting on top of the Sphinx in Egypt, sipping tea and soaking up the sun.